roundtable, we have Mr. Aditya Narayan Mishra, CEO and MD, CL HR Services Limited. May now call Mr. Aditya Narayan Mishra, the chair for the second session. Thank you very much, sir. Mr. Aditya Mishra is an experienced leader driving growth through continuous improvement and adaptability to changes, including mergers and acquisition. I have our distinguished panelist, Mr. U.K. Padi, Additional General Manager for Bank of Baroda. Sir is a very dynamic leader who brings spearheading a lot of activities at the Bank of Baroda. Ms. Swati Bhavani, Managing Director with Skills with Swati and Let's Pro. Ms. Swati Bhavani, a certified soft skills and verbal trainer, has trained over 20,000 individuals across various sectors in Karnataka. As the founder CEO of Banyan, she offers services to education and corporate entities in Andhra Pradesh. Welcome, ma'am. Mr. Avinash Kumar, HR Partner, Maruti Suzuki. Mr. Avinash Kumar is a L&D certified HR professional with over 5 years in the field of 5 years of experience in the field, training 15,000 plus associates and 120 managers. He is instrumental in strategy, operations and program management, focusing on learning solutions and talent development with a data-driven approach. Welcome, Mr. Avinash. Ms. Tasmai Das, organizational psychologist, HR manager, Medicine VR. Ms. Tasmai Das has an MSc in HR development and management and a triple major BA in psychology, economics and sociology. Is passionate about HR management and operations, seeking practical experience to enhance knowledge. Welcome, ma'am. Mr. Ravi Teja, HR service delivery analyst, Accenture. Mr. Ravi Teja is an HR service delivery analyst at Accenture, where he leverages his expertise in CRM, HR and recruiting to provide end-to-end solutions and services. He thrives on the challenges of talent acquisition, management and employee engagement. Mr. Ravi Teja. Okay, last we have Mr. Shashank Lokesh, he is the CEO of Teamina. Mr. Shashank. Let's give a big round of applause for the entire panel. This panel will be focusing on the HR transformation in India. The session comprehensively discusses HR transformation in India, focusing on HR agility, employee experience, technology and effective strategies for achieving successful business outcomes. I now request our chair, Mr. Aditya Narayan Mishra, CEO and MD CL HR Services Limited, to take the session.
Good morning to all of you. This is the second session of the day, HR transformation. Thank you, the B.E.S.T Innovation University, to have organized such a discussion. I hope that this will be meaningful for all of us who are on the panel. We will learn from each other and possibly we will leave something behind as thoughts for the esteemed guests who are here. Alright, so just to set the context, you can see that he introduced all of us already. People come with a very diverse industry experience. I'm looking forward to a very engaging conversation. So just to set the context, if we think about the macro environment in which we are living today, on one hand you see interesting things happening like let's say COP28, which happened recently, where a kind of a very interesting thing happened, that all the countries around the world unanimously agreed that they will move away from fossil fuel. We had another interesting thing like the Uttarakhand crisis, which was there, and finally the miners were rescued by the rat hole mining professionals, right? We had Chandrayaan 3, of course, a moment of pride for all of us. And on the other hand, if you really see what's happening, the Israel-Hamas war, the Ukraine war, and a lot of things happening. So, if you really try to put all of these together, the theme which comes to my mind is about resilience that human civilization is showing on the face of adversity that all of us have faced. I just picked up a few examples to illustrate this point, but the point is about resilience that all of us are capable of. And that's how the civilization, decades after decades, centuries after centuries have continued. And they will continue. So, I have been fortunate to be in this HR industry for the last 25 years. Prior to this, I worked in the EPC industry for 7 years. When we look at HR, what is the transformation which has happened? What kind of challenges that we have faced, and how we have faced this resilience? How we have demonstrated this resilience to face the challenges? So I think that's the headline around which I would like to weave this whole, this half an hour or whatever time that we have. We will respect the time, so try our best. There is so much to talk, so we will. So I'm just referring to a public, study which has been performed recently, which says that this survey was done amongst the CEOs, CXOs, as well as the employees. So the survey says, right now, it was just held recently, I think in the month of December, the results were published, it's in the public domain. It says that about 83% of the CXOs are saying that they are going to increase their headcount, their company is going to grow. The sentiment is very positive about growth, right? While there could be just a few organizations in IT or a few smaller segments compared to the overall thing that we have as an economy, India as a country, we all crossed $4 trillion kind of a economy. So the overall sentiment is growth. So then the survey went to the employees and asked, what are you looking for? Employees overwhelmingly said that we are looking for development. We are looking for development as in prepare us for the future. I should get opportunities to do more, to do better, to stay relevant. And secondly, they are saying that pay us right, recognize our efforts. So then the survey went to the CXOs and said that, okay, this is what the employees are saying. You are looking at growth. Employees are saying that they need development. They need to be paid fairly. Right? So how are you going to do this? So the CXO said that we are going to look at two things. One is that we need to find the right way of getting talent. The first session talked about it a lot, so we will not deliberate too much on it, but we will touch some parts of it. And second, they said that we need to have the right kind of talent management practices, so that I know that the right person is for the right job, who has the potential to grow further. And how do I do it? I need to really put a lot of technology. So the essence of all this is that there are three aspects which came out to sort of deal with the current context. The context is growth, context is the employee's requirement for development, and employee's requirement for fair treatment in terms of rewards and recognition. Okay? So the three things which are coming out in terms of action is, I think, get the right talent. So how do you find the right talent? So we need some transformation there. So I would request the panelists to talk about this part. How do we get the talent, the right talent? The previous panel talked about skills and the competencies and the near fit and things like that. So very briefly we will talk about this, about how do we get the right talent. Secondly, we will talk about the technology aspects, how technology can empower or enable all of us. And thirdly, we will talk about the leadership practices, what we need to demonstrate so that we are able to address these requirements, right? So that we stay resilient. That's the whole, construct. So maybe I'll, maybe start from Ravi. Ravi has been in Accenture for a while, right?
So there was a miscommunication, but yeah, I can.
Okay, so sorry. Yeah. So maybe Ravi, you can start as to. Let's first very briefly, all of us focus on the talent side of it. Then we'll go to technology and finally to leadership. Okay. I'll request my fellow panelists to be brief.
Sure. Yeah. Hello. Good morning, everyone. So basically, my name is Ravi, and I'm the director for B.E.S.T, which is an educational company. I've been in the education and upskilling space for almost 7 years, and we also have solutions and SaaS-based company called Technically, and we are currently building something in stealth with respect to revenue intelligence in the Bay Area. So there are few things that, as Sir mentioned, that when it comes to understanding the kind of talent that we need to acquire from the ecosystem. We have trained over 10,000 students, and we are currently actively working with different parts of government agencies as well. So currently we are working with Himachal, where we are training over 10,000 students for the next 2 years. So one thing that we observe is that whenever we are trying to look at the kind of expectation settings that the students have, right? I feel there is a huge shift pre-COVID and post-COVID in the expectations from the candidates, because not in just in terms of your package or CTC, but on the other hand, the kind of culture or the expectations as well. So what I have observed and what we have added up to our curriculums also is that we have added something called as industry immersion program, where we are currently, I run a founders community with over 700 founders on board across India. And what we are trying to do is, we have introduced this a while ago, where we have seen better results, because where students are coming in, joining these startups, where they're learning for 2 months or 3 months, they're working on paid, unpaid, different types of internships, where they're spending at least 2 hours a day on understanding how the real life works, right? Real life situations go. And that's when maybe if he's compatible with the company, and the company is also liking this students culture, that's when they're making it full time. So this is something that we have worked upon. And coming to the second one, which is in terms of the technology.
We'll talk about technology
Sure.
in the second thing.
Yeah.
So on the talent side, you were saying?
The industry immersion program has really worked out for us. So yeah.
Yeah. So we are just trying to stay brief. Yeah, Swati.
So hi everyone, a very good morning. So like what they introduced me as, I'm taking care of a company called Let's Pro as well as Skills with Swati. So Skills with Swati is just an individual identity that I created for myself since I started my journey. And Let's Pro is something, a company that we started 7 years ago. I would like to add to the points of what Ravi told. We are actually training people, especially the students, and not just the students. We do also help those candidates who are working for different companies. Even they are approaching us to upskill themselves. So we are into both sectors. So not just training the students on helping them to develop their skills, we are also helping them to get placed. And there are certain people who are experienced candidates. They also want to upskill themselves, and they also want to they want to change their positions, and they are looking for different jobs. So this is a small intro about me and the company or the services that I'm giving. When it comes to the the job or what we're looking for and all those things, the expectations, like they were all telling, for the students especially, is going high. The reason why is because they have a lot of options nowadays. They're not restricted with just few options or few companies. Now they have a lot of companies which is there on board, and they have more options. Because of more options, these talents are getting confused. So though we train them, though we put them on the right board, helping them with career guidance, still they get confused, or they always look forward for something which they feel like, no, I fit in something else better, for which they have to be actually eligible enough for it, for which they are not as freshers. So this is the basic challenge that we are finding while placing any candidates. And when it comes to after placing, again there is a small challenge. Since they have just finished their jobs, just finished their academics, it is a small challenge for them to adapt to the corporate world, which is again we are training them on that. So there are certain aspects which matters a lot when it comes to placements. And not just that, there are various sectors when it comes to placements or job, we are actually focusing more on engineering sector, and we are giving a little or a less importance for non-engineering sector, and the importance are being given for more technical sector than non-technical sector. Of course there are so many skill development centers and everything, but still finding job for them and helping them get placed is another big challenge based on their expectations. Though we have something which is called non-technical trainings and all those stuff, but still they are also facing a lot of issues when it comes to their placements. As I told you, since they have a lot of options, they are getting confused and they are not able to actually find the right job.
A good point. So she is talking about helping people to choose the right career path. That's the point. Thank you, sir. We'll come to Mr. Padi.
A very good morning to all of you. Thank you, madam, for calling me. I think in this hall I am the odd man out because everybody is in specialized in HR and kind of thing. I am the only guy sitting over here who is majority on finance and banking. So I will try my best to add on something whatever the panel is saying. As sir said and madam said also, I am from Bank of Baroda. Presently assistant general manager in SME head vertical here. Almost 16 years of banking experience, large into corporate credit of all those things. As sir was saying regarding the talent acquisition, if we will talk on generally, particularly in the banking sector, the total in Indian banking sector there are 300 trillion in INR economy of banking, and we are having only 50 lakhs odd kind of employee which is run by the total banking sector. Altogether, your private and public sector. In talent recruitment, what sir was referring, there is a biggest challenge for banking as well as I believe for all the industry when we are going for any recruitment drive. The major challenge is that, as madam was saying, I will just add on that, because the younger generation, they don't know which career has to be chosen by them, and they just go on choosing one by one, third, fourth, then going on shifting of their career for different kind of thing, for betterment of their box or revenues, whatever things are there. The thing what we used to face is the attrition. The 2023, 24, 25, 26 is I know the service industry, in particular BFSI sector, is going to have a 50% of attrition, and we don't have people such experienced people to replace them, where we are facing a huge recruitment challenge when talent is concerned. Second is that is the reason almost all BFSI sector is going for special talent drive. That means the person who is going on experience of some kind of things in other sector and coming and joining bank. You might have seen all BFSI sector is recruiting, lateral recruitment, outside recruitment is going on, all those things. Having said that, the talent recruitment is transformation which hugely required, because I think you all guys are there to help those people, and ultimately I am the delivering end. You people are producing and I am delivering, utilizing those people. Ultimately you guys have to guide them properly to the youngsters, those who are joining in the BFSI sector, at least to continue a loyalty to the organization, so that at least 5-6 years continues to be there. Because you may not believe, every year in the attrition cost hit our balance sheet more than 20%. Because of the upspending. Suppose today they got the appointment, they will join, after 2-3 months you find they will abscond it, nowhere, nobody knows where that's gone. So you people have to guide. I think all these from those next years will go on. You people have to guide them, those people. As I said, I am the only very good. Thank you, sir.
There's an interesting aspect of loyalty that Mr. Padi is talking about. How do we help our students, young professionals, value loyalty, and how on the other hand organizations really build that kind of an environment, enabling infrastructure to retain and engage talent? I think that's the point that Mr. Padi is saying. I'll come to Avinash and you could also look at the, this is not working maybe. You come from like an automotive, large organization. So there are people at different ends of the spectrum, right? At the top level to blue collar employees to mid-level employees. So the needs of people are very different, and needs of the talent that you are looking for is very different. So how do you see what kind of transformation is happening and what needs to be done?
First of all, very good morning to all of you, and thank you so much, sir, for giving the opportunity. So the question is very specific, and because I belongs to, right now currently I'm working with Maruti Suzuki India Limited, and it has got into picture in 1983, and it has already completed 40 years last year. I came from the background which is the largest edtech industry. That's a startup. I worked for 5 years for Byju's learning app, then moved ahead with the Maruti Suzuki. What I found particularly, because automotive industry is going to consist of the blue collar and white collar. So before going ahead and jumping into the employability, let's understand the fact that what needs to be done as far as the KRA or the responsibility or the subject specification is concerned. My father is working as a defense officer right now, is in the Air Force. I myself appeared for 20 times for the SSB. But the point is, what the service demands, what the skill set demands. Because ultimately you have to, when somebody is preparing for the IAS, if he is not going to clear that one, that means he is not eligible for that kind of services in terms of written examination. But he has inculcated the OLQ, officer like quality. In the same way, entire blue collar and white collar job, it's a term which has been used in the automotive and the hardcore manufacturing industry. We need to understand that blue collar is going to consist of the entire qualities of the white collar job people as well. When I went for the talent acquisition part, I understood, in the previous session also, somebody has also explained that very lucidly. This kind of skill set which the industry demands is not matching the kind of skill set which student demands. Now try to understand. 15% of the skill set is required for the technical one, and 85% skill is required for the communication one. That's a very specific thing. I'm an HR, I'm taking an interview of the 1,000 of candidates in terms of lateral entries or the freshers. But the kind of skill set which I want, that doesn't match a gap. Now, just like the 20 seconds of the Instagram reel, if you're not going to impress me, I'm not going to take you in. That's what the reality is. If I'm going to sit in front of the people and the person is from the top A, top B school, and if he's not going to elaborate the kind of the activity what he has done in past 5 years or 10 years, I'm not going to take him in. That's what the reality says. Because there's a power of expression which really counts in the interview. So it's a similar kind of thing, I aspire to inspire before I expire. That kind of thing which everybody inculcate that one. And the skill set only comes when you are going to collaborate with the industry experts to take out n number of the guest lectures from the industry experts. Okay, this is what I want, and this is what you have to inculcate. If university professors are there, definitely they will have to collaborate with n number of companies in best possible manner they can, and they can give the exposure to the candidates. Okay, these are the modern trend on which the industry is recruiting. That's what the skill set, which we need to fit. Thank you.
Let's hear from Dasmai.
Yes, so I think I speak for some freshers in the industry right now because first of all I'd like to introduce myself as a very humble person sitting on this dais, because I think I'm the youngest here. I started off my career very recently, and I started off my career in a startup ecosystem, and I deliberately started off, I did my postgrad from Christ University in Bangalore, and post which I had the opportunity to join other brands, if you may call it, but I deliberately chose to join a startup ecosystem because I wanted to give more importance to learning. And I think what we are looking at from this generation, I think we talked about generation and the gaps in generation, right? The trends in generation in the workforce. So what I understood from my generation of my peers is that enrichment is the word that we're looking for. Enrichment not only in the work, but also in the work culture, the environment that we are working towards. So the trend is not only, so like the fellow DIAS people have said that, you know, there are requirements from the job. There's a skill set that you want to hire for, but it's not matching. It's also, I think, in the previous conversation, someone brought it up that the match is not there. That there's a skill requirement and the skills that the students are bringing are not matching. Why is that? Because I think the students also have certain requirements from their side. They require to be fulfilled not only work-wise, because they might come from different backgrounds where they don't need to work for your company, you know. They want to work in a culture, they want to work in an environment where they are appreciated, where they are enriched and fulfilled. They feel fulfilled. So in my case, I want to speak about my case because I think it would be relevant to the industry now. I chose to work in a startup ecosystem because it gave me a lot of learning. I started off as a HR manager because they didn't have anyone to represent the HR sector. And they hired me because I had specialized in human resource development management and I had an MSc in psychology. So I understood people, I understood behavior. But what really mattered to me and what I gained from the company is that they, as a startup, were also looking to learn from me, you know, and I really liked that the learning can be from both the sides, from both the student and the organization, first. And secondly, I had to wear a lot of hats in a startup. I think all of you know how in a startup culture you have to wear a lot of hats. I not only do human resource, but I also manage a project. I also do operations. So you see, one of the things that I believe in and I talk to most of the people that I hire is there are nuances where these students ask me, what if I join the startup and I don't like it, right? They tell me, you joined it, you liked it, what if that doesn't happen with me? One of the things that I tell them that is very important and I live by is you fail fast, you learn faster. So I think that's what I'm going with.
Good.
Hello everyone, my name is Shashank and I'm the CEO and founder of a company called Team It Up, and well, like she just mentioned, I think I am also the youngest one. I'm just 23. Oh, okay, cool. Quite simply put, I'm extremely honored to be here with such amazing people because for me to share a stage with such dignified people it's absolutely amazing. So I think I can also go ahead and give you something from the ground up. I'd like to address more from a campus perspective rather than from a skill development per se, like especially talking about the campus. Every time we get a resume, right, it could be from the top IITs and the IIMs, right? They have their JE rank written, but they don't have their projects on it. They haven't written any skills on it. They have said, "Ha, mera JE hai, I got 1000 ranking in all India." Like, what do I do with that? Can you develop a website for me? No. They don't have that particular answer. They don't have a particular this thing. They feel that after 12th grade, whichever college they get into, they're like, "Acha, chalo, my life is set now." And this happens so many times. They just feel at one point when they get into a college, they're like, "Ha, I got this wonderful college, I'm definitely going to get a great job now," and they stop. They stop putting their work, they stop putting hard work in, they stop putting, actually being curious about things, they stop going and becoming exploratory beings. And I think there is another way to look at it wherein I feel a lot of students are bombarded with academics. Right. Now when I say bombarded with academics, yes, obviously a lot of training is required for the students, so I'm not going to take away anything against academics there. However, a lack of exploratory chance, right, wherein they're just given a space wherein they say, hey, you know what, there is a particular industry like this, why don't you go explore a project out there? And this is where I come back to that same problem wherein it's human evolution for humans to make mistakes and learn from it. So if students are not going to make these mistakes, try out these projects, just do things by themselves, then I don't think they'll ever find a career path for themselves. And I think that greatly speaks to the attrition rate that you were speaking about. It's probably because the students are just getting into the companies and not even knowing what they want to do. Right? If they're not exploring in their first year, their second year of college, literally their first year of college, if they're not exploring things at 18, then they're not doing a good job. Right? Just to give a personal story of myself, when I've graduated from an engineering college, I'm a computer science graduate, and I think I built around 6 products till date. Right? I have around 3 patents to my name now, and I'm doing a pretty good job with my current company. No, please don't applaud. Okay. But what I wanted to say is, I did all of this during COVID. Academics though, it was never there for me. Right, 2 years of my life, I just had the time to just go out there and explore so many things. Every single day I was doing something new. And so I asked myself, okay fine, if I could go ahead and do it, and that means that free time was an extremely important necessity for these students. Having free time, having a good perspective coming from colleges as well. The college, in fact, a lot of my teachers went in and told me, hey, you know what, why don't you try this out? Why don't you try this out? Every single day they were pushing me into different topics. And that gave me so much exposure to just try things out, and now I'm here, just sharing a panel with all of you amazing people. So this is where I would go ahead and say free time is extremely important. Bringing that exploratory and curiosity in students is extremely important for an actual developed prospect to come out of a college, and to help reduce an attrition as well, because I think that goes in and drives students to stay in companies and work in that career path because they've already found their passion. So that's my 2 cents.
Okay, thank you, Shashank. By the way, what time we should stop this discussion?
Sir, I think you have time till 11:35, but let me check.
11:35, is it?
Yes. You have time.
11:35?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So we have 2 more topics to talk about. So what are we saying is, just to summarize this piece on talent, because I think audience, a large part of the audience is from the academic side of it. So I think the panelists are saying that we need to really have the fresh talent be more innovative, more agile. That means they need to experiment, they need to discover the passion or the skills that they are naturally more oriented towards. I think that's what the panelists are saying. Ravi spoke about the industry immersion as a tool, that when I'm studying, can I go and get some real life work experience? Can I get exposed to some real life problems? Shashank talked about building products while he was in the university or in the college. So that's really, he also spoke about that I have ranked so much, or this is my CGPA, or this is my score, means nothing or means less than what I have actually been exposed to, what skills I carry. I think Swati also spoke about similar things, and Mr. Padi also spoke about that, how I commit to a particular job. And I just want to add one small dimension to what Tasmai said, that it is not, I hope I am pronouncing your name correctly, Tasmai. Okay, what we are, the point that I wanted to add is, years of experience is not equal to your worth in the industry. Okay, so someone like, let's take the youngest person, Shashank on this panel, is no way lesser valuable for the industry than maybe someone like me who's like, working for 32 years. All right, so I just want to, sometimes students have this kind of, or even people with experience feel that I have 15 years of experience, so I need to be more senior than somebody who's with 5 years of experience. No, need not be. Actually, industry always looks at what is the impact that you can create. So the point that I am trying to make is focus on the impact that you deliver. Okay, so we will move on. We said that there are 3 aspects that we will talk about. One is talent, second is technology, and third is leadership. I'm sure the next session, which is on employee experience, is going to focus a lot on these 2 aspects. How technology can enhance employee experience, and how leadership is so very important for employee experience. I'm sure the next 2 panels are going to talk more about it. However, we will open the topic so that it's a continuum, right? So we'll maybe start this time from Shashank, and then Tasmay and Avinash and Mr. Pari and Swati and Ravi. So the point that now we will focus is how technology is playing a role. All of us know that ChatGPT, generative AI, robotics, machine learning, and so many new things we keep seeing, right? Green energy, green industry coming, green skills, and so many things we keep reading in the media. So how technology is important for us young people in the campuses. Okay, so that's the topic. Request Shashank to start.
Thank you so much, sir. Just to give you all a background of exactly what my company does, I think technology is where I can go ahead and shed a lot of light over here. So when I started this company, in the name it says teaming up, right? Essentially, how do I start teaming up with people? That was the entire goal of what I wanted to go ahead and build as a product. I had a simple problem statement. Whenever I was doing a group project in my college, I was usually stuck with the end results. I just didn't want, we used to randomly create groups for the sake of creating a group. And that went ahead and caused one huge problem for us. We used to fight in the group, work never used to happen, projects actually never got done, and probably in the last few days we were like, chalo, let's do something, ChatGPT this, and then throw it away. And that's how a lot of papers are written today from students. And that's why there's a very bad quality of papers that are coming out from students right now. Because they're just throwing things together at the literal nth moment and they expect that things will get done. So that's when I realized that, okay fine, there are people who want to work with me and who actually want to go ahead and have the same sort of a mentality and the same sort of a exploration. So that's where I created a product wherein, based on a person's psychometric analysis, right, or behavior within a particular team, I help people to go ahead and use compatibility metrics so that students can go ahead and start working with each other in a group project. So it could be something like, let's say me and you could be compatible at, let's say, 95%, or me and him could be compatible at 100%, something like that. And I could just go ahead and start taking them onto my team based on their skill sets and stuff. Now, how does this apply for HR? It's a simple problem, right? Usually when we take in freshers, what happens? You put them into a team and hope things work, right? And then you start getting complaints saying, this person's doing this, that person's not doing this. You have the drama that obviously comes in. And then immediately after that, we're seeing attrition rate as well. It's skyrocketing. Because people are a lot more radicalized now. People are a lot more, let's say, expressive, right? And because of which, at times, I think that's a good thing that people are a lot more expressive. However, because of that expressiveness, people start to go ahead and not gel well. Right? So it's a requirement that's we help them figure out a good commonality, help them go ahead and use these psychometric analysis tools to understand each and every employee's behavior, and based on that try to come up with a bit more efficient teams so that we can start reducing the attrition. That's my 2 cents. Yeah. All right.
Right, sure. So since I've been asked to make it brief, I'll just bring 3 points to the table. How transformation, if we're looking at technologies. Digitalization which is making the adoption of human resource technologies, HRIS systems that we all use. You know, those platforms make payroll management, performance the evaluations more efficient. Second would be automation, learning, you know, leveraging on chatbots, AI chatbots for routine queries. All of these also employee experience, greater initiatives and making employees more visible on social media, bringing the culture forward on social media, showing how, I think HUL does a phenomenal job in bringing how the culture, how, you know, the environment in the office works. So it's not only the brand HUL that gets to the forefront, but also the experience. The experience is visible to joinees, you know. All of these, if we leverage all of digitalization, we free up a lot of human resources time into strategizing, into making more agile decisions. Thank you, that's all. I hope that was clear.
Absolutely. Avinash.
So within 2 minutes I need to wrap it. I hope my experience will definitely differ from the panel, might be. Every person has their own perception. For me, what I have inculcated from 1 year in the services of the automotive, you need to understand that the mature market and the industry is having a great bandwidth of the age. That is, let's take example 25 to 45, age of the mature industry. Now, my father is 55, I am 30. So the kind of the technical things what I am good at, my father isn't. So I need to understand to make him available on the technology. That is a very, very important part. Example, earlier we used to take the data from the vendors and get the candidates on board. Now things really differ a lot. We need to be data analytical skills that need to be imparted in any of the person. Why data? Why the person is not saying that I'm good at Excel? Why these people are demanding for macros and Tableau and Power BI? Why it is so? Because we need to understand to fill the gap of a person within the age of 30, that's not going to be the pace of the person who has already attained the age of 45. That's my personal experience, what I found. So, in order to train them, the L&D came into picture, learning and development innovations. You need to train the candidate, not candidate, employees particularly, because they have already attained 50, 55 in the mature market of FMCG or automotive, and to make them acquainted with the technological things slowly and gradually, not fully. That's what the attrition came into picture. In startup we have huge attrition because of the nature of work, because people are not adaptable, but that's a good retention part in terms of the MNCs, what we can. Because apart from the industry, there are two kinds of roles are there. It's a tech role, non-tech role. Tech role, people have to continuously update themselves on the continuous basis. But non-tech roles are restricted up to some amount. We need to understand. But to make them fight, to make them into picture, let's suppose if technical guy is getting 35 and 5 years experience getting 50 lakhs, non-tech people won't reach up to that level. Why it is so? Not technically adaptable. So technology should have to come into picture, but slowly and gradually we make the acquaintance to the entire age group. We need to understand that people are a little bit reluctant in learning the technologies, but slowly and gradually making them continuously acquainted with the LMS or the L&D initiatives will definitely help you out. Thank you.
I think very important points Avinash made about how one needs to adapt new technologies, and especially when the workforce is multi-generational. Somebody who has just joined, let's say, in an organization like something like a Maruti Suzuki, where it's a large organization, versus someone who has joined a startup, and the average age of the employees in that organization could be very different compared to an organization like a Maruti Suzuki, for example. So when we are kind of starting our career in that kind of an organization, the skills, our approach to life has to be very different. I think that's the point, that very valuable point that Avinash brought up. I would request Mr. Padi to talk about, from your experience, how, for example, technology's role in HR has been changing over the last few years that you have noticed, and how you think that young people should adapt to this pace of change?
Thank you, sir. See, this technology and is affordability is really influencing the growth and all the business and for the success also. To me, the technology, as you said, this AI, machine learning, all these things are there. We are compiling the data and helping is the recruiting process of all those things. I believe with this technology, we require also human touch, because only technology can give us so many things while going on this economy, and it is changing the scenario in the market also. But the human touch is very much required to make the people, and presently when we are talking about HR transformation, because the technology will go and changes and every day it demands. Now, as you said, ChatGPT has come, people are throwing at all those things. But we cannot ignore human touch, sir, as long as HR transformation is concerned. Thank you.
We'll come to Swati. Yeah. About how technology is transforming HR.
So, first of all, I would like to tell you all, technology is a bane as well as a boon. And when it comes to technology in especially service-based company like us, we make the best use of it, to be honest. We are completely dependent on technology. And at the same time, technology is also a sort of hampering our thought process, and it is also trying to make us a little lazy because we stop thinking. We are totally dependent on the technology nowadays. Maybe we all call it ChatGPT, which is making our work easier. Of course, it's making our work easier. At the same time, we should also have that knowledge of how to use ChatGPT in a way we are actually skilling ourselves, which means that we are updating ourselves to make the best use of ChatGPT. In a way, it's nothing but upskilling ourselves. It is a, what do we say, a positive note when it comes to technology. And at the same time, see, a service-based company, like I told you all, like us, we are completely dependent on technology in such a way where we want things to happen so quick. It's because we look forward for the productivity in less time is what we are looking forward for. That is what every company looks forward for. And that is the purpose why the entire world is running behind technology. And since there is a constant growth in technology and everybody is behind technology, it's important for us also to actually adapt for it, and we will have to upskill ourselves and ensure that we will be making the best use of it. In a way, we will not be outdated, so that nobody can tell us that we are out of, the society where we are not aware of technology. So this is something that I would like to specify.
Yeah, you to Ravi.
Yeah, thank you so much. So, I have a little different perspective on this particular topic, because I want to touch base on what Shashank mentioned, which is, kind of working on hands-on projects, or, having initial idea of what they want to do, or the students or the mindset of the current generation. So, I see, according to the new education policy that has come into place, AI-based career counseling has become a mandatory thing, and there are a few government bodies that are implementing this, and I feel this is a very important step, because this is one part of it, and the second part of it, which Mr. Avinash mentioned, which is related to upskilling when you are 50, 55. How do you upskill, or how do you kind of adapt to the technology? So considering these both aspects and the current generation, so I see there are three different segments of people whom we usually hire. So the first segment is people who are already getting chance to kind of understand what are their career possibilities, where they exactly fit in. So for example, we developed a tool which kind of we can simply say it's a psychometric assessment tool, but also with career mapping. And I feel majority of the students are confused because they do not know what career options are available. And so, consider myself, I come from a middle class background, and when we see, I studied for everyone, we have studied for 20, 21 years of our life to join that first job, right? And when you join that first job, all your expectations are gone. right? Because you expected something and you landed somewhere else. So we try to fit in someone else's shoe, and that is what makes us makes most of the students' life miserable, and that's the reason why iteration ratios are very high. So considering these factors, I feel the first solution factor is implementing this since the schooling, where from 8th, 9th, 10th standard onwards, where students are aware of what different options are available. Because if you come down to maybe in South, let's say Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, you ask them what do you want to take up. The student literally says either maths, physics, chemistry, or biology, physics, chemistry. Right? They do not go for other options as well. Right? Nobody wants to study economics. Nobody wants to go ahead with commerce. Maybe the reason being they are not aware. So maybe awareness is the first step where HR or even the educational institutions should take a step forward. That's my first point. Secondly, coming to the existing students, the industry immersion is what I've mentioned, where students have 4 years of their precious life with the university. So I believe when university takes charge, I believe they should be given a chance to kind of explore different kind of markets according to the students' capacity. So coming to technology helping here, we have different hundreds of predictive models that can actually help students understand where they actually fit in. So as Shashank mentioned, there is a compatibility thing that he's taking out for groups. Maybe something similar could be taught in terms of what group he or she is taking up. Let's say I have taken up ECE. My bachelor's was in ECE, post that I have done MBA. So I knew MBA was my choice, B.Tech was my parents' choice. Right, because they thought my brother was a gold medalist from an IIT, so he thought, it's good you go there because he also studied ECE, you could go to electronics also, computer science also. So that was my go-to for my B.Tech, right? So maybe if given chance to students to pick which industry they should work in, that should actually help. And coming to the third part, which is upskilling after 50s, or maybe adapting technology with the workforce, which is kind of senior in the profession. I believe the L&D models or the technology has come into picture, but seniors adapting to it just through LMS or maybe chatbots might not be a great deal. So we have had, currently in our organization also we have had workforce of all different areas, and above 50 we have less than 10%. But the way we try to tell them about ChatGPT, they do not understand it at the first go. Maybe because the way students do. Because students know, okay, I know this, if I type, it's just like a Google, but it will give me answers. Right? But the kind of responsiveness when you are kind of learning or upskilling after a certain age is restricted towards your experiences. Because they have not seen such drastic career shift or the technology shift from going from newspapers to generative AI, right? So maybe that's an area that I'd like to add, wherein technology could come handy, where if we focus on, because this is very subjective to each and every student. Yeah. So.
Sure. Thank you, Ravi, for adding that your ECE and MBA story. I think it's there in every family household. Yeah, absolutely. I think the panel is talking about being savvy on technology, the new things which are coming up, as well as same time not to forget that we are all human beings and we have to interact with other humans as well, because we work in a community, we live in a community. We cannot only deal with machines and live our life with that. So it's a very interesting time in which we are living, where we have to hone our skills in the way we engage with machines, and at the same time we engage with human beings. So I will not get into the third aspect of the conversation, which was on leadership. All of us know about the importance of leadership in transforming any aspect of an organization, or for that matter life. So I hope that all of you had a good time listening to perspectives from a wide variety of people on the panel. Would request 1 or 2 questions. We still have, I think, 2-3 minutes. So if there is 1 or 2 questions, we are happy to take. Yes, please, sir.
Sir, my question is to Mr. Shashank. So is there any possibility to send our students to any internship kind? Otherwise, anyway, you are a startup company, sir. So shall we send any, maybe if at all?
That's a direct question.
Yeah, that's I mean, honestly, sir,
as a startup company, then we having a lot of options to Take no, sir.
Sir, in fact, no, I'm sure there are multiple startup founders here. There is no way that we'll reject somebody. Alright, there is almost no way that we'll reject somebody. The only reason why we don't take them is because they're unprepared. As in, we never say, no, I won't look at an application. No, I will 100% look at an application. I will 100% even talk to that person, ask them what kind of role you even want to take up. Right? Okay, boss, ये मेरा startup है, this is all the things that I do here. Right? How can you go ahead and help me out? 100% we do that. Right? I think all of us on this panel can agree, all the startup founders here as well. But the only thing is, students themselves, they don't know what they want to take up. They're very, very, very inexperienced. Right? They lack that, sometimes they lack maturity, sometimes they lack time sense. Right? Sometimes they lack, let's say, core personal management skills. Right? And these things sort of can be a slight turn off for when we want to go ahead and hire some interns. However, if you have some, 100% sir, not at all a problem.
No, finally we have that's the AML guys and cybersecurity guys also there.
100%. I think Ravi also can go ahead and hire you.
Any other question? I just wanted to ask you a question. See, today, of course, for one role, we use 1 to 10,000 kind of profiles. So how often do you use technology to sort it out? The most often what happens is people do not know what keywords to put, they get lost. So how often do you use?
I think you would be a better person to answer that. I think Ravi would be a better person to answer that.
Yes, sir. So basically, I'll give you a live example. So we are currently hiring for a data engineer role, and we have put that post on Naukri. We have got around 80,000 applications for one position, and in no manner I can go through all the applications. So we have an ATS in place that we have, but understanding what keywords. So that's the preliminary round. That's it. So for me, if you ask, so currently what we are trying to explore is we are trying to change the way we kind of look at applications. So we are no more interested in the resume, honestly, because we want to see the coursework or their previous experiences for sure. That comes in the employee background verification and everything. But yeah, 100% we use an ATS where we put in key competencies as our keywords, which let's say for us, if you look at for any role above 5 years of experience, we look at 85% match minimum. And any role above 2 to 3 years of experience, we look at a 70 to 75% of this thing. So these are the areas where ATS or other tools come into picture. So we have created our own ATS because we have multiple specifications of whom do we want to hire. So let's say for example, while we were hiring for the current the STEM one that I am working on, we have just observed who has OpenAI hired. Right, so we understood their hiring pattern because that's a company which we look up to. Where if you're working in the generative AI space, that's a company that we look up to, and you wouldn't believe they hardly hired 15 people from India. That's it. Out of their whole engineering staff, only 15 people were from India, out of which most of them were not from the data side. They were from the front end, UI, UX, that concept. So maybe considering that pool of a talent, maybe we would also want to look at somebody outside. But if we are looking at freshers or somebody who could be interactive, that's where we come in, where we understand what previous experiences they hold. So let's say if you have worked on a small project, it need not be a very big project. Just what I expect from any initial tech hiring is if the student know data, cloud, and can he do it or not. That's it.
At the end of the day, just to add to his point was, if you have enough skills to showcase on your profile, if you have enough projects, I don't see why you won't get hired.
So basically it's all about building the portfolio. Yes.
Absolutely. And sound projects.
Alright.
Yes.
Thank you very much, sir. You're pretty much dot on time. Thank you so much. A big round of applause for our esteemed panel here. May I now request our Chancellor, Madam Dr. Rupa Vasudevan, and our Vice Chancellor, Dr. S.S. Bilgi, to thank our guests and felicitate.
Stand together.
Please.
go a long way. They are our bankers also for the university.
Thank you, madam. Thanks for your invitation and
Thank you so much. It means a lot. Thank you so much.
thank you.
Thank you so much sir, for your moderation.
And this is from Mr.
All right.
Couple of important things that I take home from the second panel is learning from both the sides. Okay, one that the industry has to learn, and the other thing the student will learn from the university. But there is one very interesting quote one of the panelists said today, which is very impressive, and it kept my mind thinking that you learn fast, you fail fast and you learn faster. But I kind of think the other way around. I think a person learns fast but fails faster because of maybe attitude or ego. There's so many other things. But there's definitely a thought into that. Probably I'll look into that more. And a couple of important points that Ravi has mentioned today is about industry immersion. One thing from a law school perspective I just wanted to tell you is that it's a mandatory aspect for almost all law schools in India now, that every student, because it's a 5-year course, every student has to go through an internship during the summer vacation as well as during the winter vacation. So by the time they finish their 5-year studies, they literally have 10 experiences on their resume. And they have to mention their projects and all the kind of activities that they've done while working at a law firm or in the office of a lawyer, etc. I'm sure at our university we make sure that, though we have a lot of other departments, engineering department, economics department, and so on, we make our students to go and experience the field in case if they're in agriculture, and if they are into engineering, in computer science, etc., we throw them into the labs and help them play with the machines. So I think which is a very important point. And I think, because this panel was consisting of a lot of different people from different sectors, and as Paddy sir is from public sector, a very interesting point that he made is about commitment. I think every person who joins the workforce should be really committed to the work that they are doing. If you're not really committed, then you're not in the right place. So you should probably move on to a different place. But commitment is something that comes only when you're really passionate about what you're doing. And as one of our panelists has said that she holds multiple hats, I think it's not only for her, I think each and every one of us should be wearing multiple hats. We should be jack of multiple trades and but master of none. Is that about right? Yeah, I mean something like that, right? And yes, something that is very, very important is that focus on the output. We really need to focus on what we are finally bringing out at the end of the day. And yes, again, I will go back to Paddy sir, what he has mentioned, that ChatGPT cannot give you everything. It can definitely not give you a grade A. You definitely have to put in your mind. There should be human interaction. You should talk to your professors. You should talk to industry people. You should get the right knowledge and then put it in the right place. As sir has said, that human touch is important. It cannot be ignored. And as one of our panelists has said, tech is a bane and a boon, because tech is making us to stop thinking. I totally see that. Many of our youngsters are actually stop thinking these days. Alexa, hey Siri, my phone will start answering now. So we really need to see where tech is useful to us and where it is not. And something that again I totally concur with you is that 21 years of studies. We want to study something, but we study something, but we land up somewhere else. I think that's a har ghar ki kahani hai wo. That's totally true. And last and not least, what our good friend, our youngest speaker today, Mr. Shashank Lokesh, I think we should give it up to him. I just looked up. I mean, I didn't know him till now, and I just looked him up. I googled him. I also belong to a university called Google University. So sometimes I call him Google Baba. Google Baba immediately answered me, who is Mr. Shashank? Okay, with my curiosity, I found out that he is not only the CEO of Kimina, he is one of the youngest person who has raised $200,000 recently, in seed fund. So I think we need youngsters like this, and I think as universities we need to strive hard and nurture and cultivate such individuals who not only look for jobs and die hard to find one job, but they should be in a position to create more multiple jobs. I think that's a wonderful panel that we had. So with this, we'll move on to the